Nobody tells you this, but the reason people don't take you seriously isn't your looks, your money, or your background. It's something you do every single day without realizing it. And the worst part, the more you do it, the more invisible you become. But there's one habit, just one, that flips everything. Master it, and people start watching you differently. Ignore it, and you stay ignored forever. Before we continue, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. Let me say something most people won't tell you. People don't ignore you by accident. They decide to, not consciously but instinctively. Within seconds of you speaking, reacting, explaining, they place you into a category: important or dismissible, confident or unsure, worth listening to or easy to overlook. And once you're placed there, it's hard to escape. You can work harder, talk more, prove yourself endlessly, but the label sticks. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people cause their own invisibility, not because they're not smart, not because they lack value, but because of one habit that silently destroys their presence, the habit that makes you invisible. That habit is this: over-explaining yourself, explaining your decisions, explaining your opinions, explaining your actions, again and again. You say something, then you add more, then you clarify it, then you soften it, just in case someone misunderstood. You keep talking, not because you have more to say, but because you don't feel secure stopping. It feels like you're being clear, but what you're actually doing is lowering your own authority. Every extra sentence sends a subtle message. I hope this is okay. I need you to agree with me. And people pick up on that instantly. Because the truth is, when someone is certain, they don't rush to explain themselves. They say what needs to be said, and they stop. But when you over-explain, you remove all tension, all mystery, all weight from your words, and without realizing it, you train people to take you less seriously. Why this destroys your respect? Here's the psychology behind it. When you talk too much, you remove mystery. When you explain too much, you weaken authority. And when you keep adding more words, people stop valuing the ones you already said. Because power isn't just in what you say, it's in what you choose not to say. The moment you over-explain, something subtle shifts. Instead of people leaning in to understand you, they start leaning back, evaluating you. They begin to sense hesitation, uncertainty, a need to be accepted. And once that signal is detected, your presence changes. You're no longer seen as someone with conviction, but someone seeking validation. And here's the harsh truth. The more you try to prove your point, the less convincing you become. Because real authority doesn't chase agreement, it assumes it. And that assumption alone is what makes people take you seriously. What powerful people do differently. Think about people you naturally respect. They move differently. They don't rush to speak. They don't react to every comment. And they definitely don't feel the need to explain themselves to everyone. They say what matters, and then they stop. No extra words, no unnecessary justification. And what happens? People lean in, because there's space left in the conversation, space that creates curiosity. You start wondering what they're thinking. You pay closer attention to what they say next. That's not accidental, it's control. They understand something most people don't. Silence isn't emptiness, it's presence. And when used right, that presence makes every word they speak carry more weight than 1,000 unnecessary ones. The one habit you need. So what's the one habit you need to master? Controlled silence. Not awkward silence. Not passive silence where you shrink yourself. Controlled silence is intentional. It's choosing not to speak even when you can. It's holding back, even when you feel the urge to explain. It means you're not reacting instantly. You're responding deliberately. You pause before you speak. You let your words land. And most importantly, you don't rush to fill the space after. Because that space, that silence, that's where your power sits. Most people are uncomfortable there. They panic. They start talking just to escape it. But when you stay calm in that silence, you signal something rare: certainty. You show that you're not desperate to be understood, not desperate to be liked, not desperate to prove anything. And that restraint creates weight. Your words start to feel heavier, more intentional, more final. Controlled silence isn't about saying less for the sake of it. It's about saying only what matters and having the discipline to stop. Because the moment you master that, people don't just hear you, they start listening. Let's make this practical. Situation 1. Someone questions you. Instead of, "Let me explain, I actually meant," try pause, look at them, then say calmly, "That's my decision," and stop. No extra words. Situation 2. You make a mistake. Most people panic and over-explain. Instead, "I'll fix it. That's it. No long story, no excuses." You maintain control. Situation 3. In conversations, don't rush to fill silence. Let it breathe. You'll notice something interesting. People start talking more, revealing more, respecting your presence more. Because now you're not competing for attention, you're controlling it. The internal shift. This habit doesn't just change how people see you. It changes how you see yourself. When you stop over-explaining, something shifts internally. You stop second-guessing every word. You stop needing reassurance after you speak. You begin to trust your own decisions without needing approval to back them up. And that quiet confidence, it builds fast. Because every time you choose silence over validation, you reinforce one message to yourself: I don't need permission. That mindset is powerful. You become more grounded, more composed, less reactive to other people's opinions, and people can feel that shift instantly. Not because you announced it, but because your behavior changed. And sometimes the strongest confidence is the one you never have to explain. Why most people fail here? Let's be real. This is hard, not because it's complicated, but because it's uncomfortable. Silence exposes you. It forces you to sit with that tension, that feeling of, I should say something right now. And for most people, that feeling is unbearable. So they fill the gap, they explain, they justify, they talk just to escape the pressure. But every time they do that, they give away control. Because they're not speaking with intention anymore. They're reacting out of discomfort. And here's the deeper truth. Over-explaining isn't a communication problem. It's an insecurity problem. A need to be accepted. A fear of being misunderstood. A fear of being judged. And until you face that, you'll keep talking your way out of respect without even realizing it. Once you truly master this habit, the shift is impossible to ignore. People stop talking over you. They start waiting for your response. Even your silence begins to carry meaning. You'll notice it in small moments. A pause you hold, and the room stays quiet. A short answer, and no one challenges it. A look, and people rethink what they were about to say. That's when you realize it's not about being louder. It's about being felt. Your presence becomes stronger, even when you say less. And the biggest change? You're no longer trying to be taken seriously. You just are. Because when your words become rare, they become valuable, and people naturally respect what feels scarce. Final word. So next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, stop, pause, and ask yourself, am I speaking to be understood or to be respected? Because those are not the same thing. Master this one habit, controlled silence, or don't, and stay exactly where you are, ignored. For more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to the channel.